We fell in love with Ted, Robin, Barney, Lily, and Marshall during the 9 seasons of How I Met Your Mother. But you know what they say? Love is blind. Thanks to that blind love, you may have missed some dark moments. We've uncovered those dark realities to the show that was a master at twists, turns, and cliffhangers. Grab your favorite drink, saddle up to a table at McGee's, and get ready, because today we're looking at 10 ways How I Met Your Mother is darker than you remember. Quick reminder, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can receive our new video notifications. Your parents danced to Rick Springfield, singing about wanting Jesse's girl. But Barney took his obsession for his buddy's wife way too far. Despite his friendship with both Marshall and Lily, Barney continually made lewd comments to Lily, which of course she doesn't enjoy. In fact, her uncomfortableness around his comments seemed to egg him on, and he makes no secret of the fact that he'd bed Lily if possible.
When you talked to Robin, she told you what's under the hood, and you want to take it for a spin yourself.
Not even if you boiled it in detergent.
Whether he was desperately searching for a sex tape of Marshall and Lily after learning of its existence, making bets where the win was getting to fondle Lily's breasts, or pretending his triple X-ray goggles really worked, I think we can all agree the advances towards her were downright gross. Let's face it, while we hope Robin would be that strong woman we all love, it turns out that she wasn't so much strong as she was mean. Let's just talk about how she treats her coworker Patrice for a second. We've all known the person who is overly joyful and always trying to help. It can be annoying, but we don't treat them like crap because we're not psychos. Robin may not be able to say the same. Here's the other thing about Robin. She likes to play the field, which is fine, except she lies and uses guys and has no remorse or regrets. This makes you think that maybe she would respect other women that do the same. Nope. Instead, she constantly slut-shames them. So instead of being that strong woman that knows what she wants and how to get it, she's turned into the mean girl who has to put other women down just to feel tall. The gang's whole attitude towards women is really problematic. We've already established the fact that Barney's attitude and treatment towards women is gross, and that Robin would rather shame them than join them. But what about the rest of the cast? The Naked Man episode should really be an episode on 2020 To Catch a Predator, since it's essentially a live version of an unsolicited dick pic. I could spell it out for you, but here. If you'll excuse me, I'm off to wash my eyeballs with bleach. The Doppelgangers made us cringe, coming in hot at number 7. Some of the How I Met Your Mother cast dressed as other races. They changed the color of their skin and spoke with horrible accents to the point that it was downright cringeworthy. Throughout the show, we were introduced to everyone's doppelgangers. In addition to lesbian Robin and stripper Lily, we see a Hispanic lawyer with the slogan, Señor Justicia. Then there was...
And Mexican wrestler me. Yes, mine was the coolest.
I mean, come on, guys. Finally, we have Barney's doppelganger, which was cringy on 2 levels. First, because he was playing a man who was half Armenian, but also because Barney later disguises himself as the good doctor in order to trick Marshall into being his partner in a laser tag competition. I think we can all agree that the doppelgangers concept is really funny, but come on, man. Make them the same race or find actors of that race that look like the actor. Come on. If you're going to get to slap someone really hard one time, especially someone like Barney who really deserves a good slap, you're gonna want to make it a good one. The slaps-giving running joke was one of the greats on How I Met Your Mother. Marshall even composed a song about it. However, they had to ruin it for us in the episode where Marshall explains he learned the slap of 1,000,000 exploding suns by seeking wisdom from 3 great masters. Seems smart enough. The problem is, these 3 great masters that are Asian weren't played by Asian actors. Instead, they're played by Allison Hannigan, Josh Radnor, and Colby Smuthers. In Yellowface. Come on, guys. Do better. There were the obvious dark sides of How I Met Your Mother, but then there were the theories, and folks, whoo, these get dark. Say what you want about Barney. He did know how to dress. In fact, it's estimated that Barney spent $56,000 a year on suits alone. He even claimed to be addicted to them. That is until the Girls vs. Suits episode when Barney tries to date the new bartender at McGee's and is surprised to learn that she won't date anyone who wears a suit. However, cutting out the suits end up being much more difficult than he expected, and he goes into withdrawals. He sweats, gets tics, and even sniffs up and down Marshall's suit. If all of this doesn't convince you that Barney saying he's addicted to suits really means he's addicted to cocaine, maybe the fact that he hides the suit in the bar's bathroom, goes into the bathroom, the place where people do bumps of coke, to wear the suit just for a minute to feel better, will. Another sad theory about How I Met Your Mother is why Ted is telling the kids the story to begin with. Let's face it, that was a long story, and not many kids would have sat through it like they did. That is, and sit back here, folks, unless future Ted has Alzheimer's. There is something to be said about this theory. Think about how many times Ted forgets names and simply fills them in with blah blah blahs. I know it's a sad theory, but think in terms of a writer. Given the fact that Ted's stories always had flaws, out-of-order details, and continuity errors, there had to be a reason. If we were writers that had to pay attention to that stuff, there would be no easier way to write it off as planned than to give the storyteller Alzheimer's. One of the ways to explain why Barney wasn't in prison for being a sexual predator or why he was still allowed to be in the group given his constant moves on Lily is that maybe he didn't exist at all. We never see Barney in later years. We see Robin when Ted tries to win her back. We see Marshall and Lily when Marshall becomes state attorney and when they come to babysit either Luke and or Leia, but we never meet future Barney. Tim Gunn as a personal tailor, come on, no one is that cool. It also makes sense that Ted would create a character like Barney to hold his kids' attention. Seriously, this is such a long story. Proof is that as the show progressed, Barney's behavior became more eccentric, thus holding his kids' attention. This would also explain the big build-up to the wedding to Robin and the very quick divorce. We hate to say it, but if Ted were going after our best friend, we'd encourage her to get a restraining order. Throughout the 9 seasons of How I Met Your Mother, Ted was desperate to find the one. So much so that he often refused to take no for an answer.
You don't give up, because if I could give up, if I could just, take the whole world's advice and move on and find someone else, that wouldn't be love. That would be some other disposable thing that is not worth fighting for.
In typical stalker fashion, Ted excuses his actions as romantic. Sorry, Ted, but that isn't called love. That's called stalking. No means no, man. Sometimes you have to move on. And number 1, everything was made up. We all know Bob Saget was the voice of future Ted, right? What we don't know is why. We finally get to future Ted, but it isn't Bob Saget playing him, so why would it be a different voice? Because one dark theory is that everything is made up. Even the kids. Ted isn't telling the kids a story about how he met their mother. He's pitching a show to TV executives. If you rewatch the series with this idea in mind, it will explain a lot. The missing names, the different voice for Ted, and again, why isn't Barney in jail? Granted, this isn't a great theory, but to be honest, we prefer it to Ted having Alzheimer's. And there you have it. Are there any dark moments from How I Met Your Mother that wrecked you? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. And be sure to check back next time to find out what else needs to be ranked.